Hundreds of demonstrators gathered outside the U.S. Consulate General in Istanbul, staging a fiery protest amid escalating U.S.-Iran tensions. The rally was held in support of the Iranian people and against what protesters described as American and Israeli aggression. During the demonstration, protesters burned posters of U.S. President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. U.S. and Israeli flags were also set on fire, as slogans echoed through the streets condemning Washington's policies and warning against military intervention in Iran. The protest comes at a time when the United States has sharply increased its military footprint in the Middle East. President Trump has repeatedly warned that the U.S. could intervene militarily if Iran does not agree to a new nuclear deal or if it continues its violent crackdown on protesters at home. According to U.S. officials, the American Navy now has 6 destroyers, 1 aircraft carrier, and 3 littoral combat ships deployed in the region. Analysts warn that this buildup significantly raises the risk of a direct confrontation, especially after Iran's deadly crackdown in January on nationwide protests against its leadership. Iran's top leadership has responded with strong warnings of its own. On Sunday, Iranian state television aired remarks by Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who said Iran would not be intimidated by U.S. threats. Khamenei insisted that Iran does not seek war, but issued a clear warning. He said that while Iran does not want to attack any country, it would strike a strong blow against anyone who attacks or harasses it. His comments underlined Tehran's position that any U.S. military action would trigger a wider regional conflict. Despite the heated rhetoric, there are also signs of possible diplomacy. Both Washington and Tehran have indicated that they may be open to resuming talks. On Saturday, Iran's top security official said on social media that arrangements for negotiations were underway. Just hours later, the White House released video footage showing President Trump telling reporters that Iran was seriously talking with the United States. Trump said that a negotiated deal was possible, stressing that the goal would be to ensure Iran never develops nuclear weapons. However, he also expressed uncertainty about whether Tehran would ultimately agree. While diplomatic signals flicker, tensions have widened beyond Washington and Tehran. On Sunday, Iran's parliamentary speaker warned that Tehran could designate European Union armies as terrorist organizations. Iran is also considering expelling EU military attaches from the country. This comes in direct response to the European Union's recent decision to label Iran's powerful Revolutionary Guards as a terrorist organization. The EU's move marked a significant shift in policy and followed Iran's violent suppression of nationwide protests that began over economic hardships. Those protests quickly evolved into the most serious political challenge to the Islamic Republic since its founding in 1979. Human rights groups say thousands of people may have been killed during the crackdown, though those figures have not been independently verified. Regional players like Turkey have called for de-escalation, urging both sides to avoid pushing the region toward another devastating conflict. Turkey's role is being closely watched, especially as protests like the one in Istanbul highlight how regional tensions are resonating across borders. As of now, the situation remains highly volatile. On one side, military deployments, sanctions, and sharp warnings continue to escalate pressure. On the other, cautious signals of dialogue suggest that diplomacy is still on the table. Whether the standoff leads to renewed negotiations or slides toward confrontation may shape the future of not just US-Iran relations, but the stability of the entire region.